So hello everybody and welcome to our fourth Foodie Friday. And we are here with Mary Kay Bonoma. She is our 2019 Industry Leader of the Year and our Hall of Fame inductee for the Chicago Culinary Museum and Chefs Hall of Fame. And we are so delighted that we could get some time with her and get her to come in and talk about the industry and talk about herself. This year, well, I should say 2019 was our year where we inducted four very inspirational, powerful women in our industry. And we were so glad to be able to get them all on board. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hold our induction ceremony yet, but it is coming. We didn't want to do it unless we could do it right, because really they really needed to be honored in the correct way. So we are looking forward to 2021 as a new fresh start, and we're all very hoping that everything will be fine, and then we will have a great induction ceremony. Everybody will get the message, we'll send it out, and we'll be able to honor these women in our industry the correct way. And so we were very, very glad to have Mary Kay join us today. And she's got a lot of different titles, so I'm not even gonna, I know she's with the Illinois Restaurant Association, but she's done so much over her career. And so we're glad to have her, and I'm gonna have her introduce herself today and just kind of give us a little backdrop of how she got to our great city and how she's done so many wonderful things for you. So welcome, Mary Kay.
Welcome. Thank you, Kyle. It's an honor to be with you. Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can
All
hear you
good?
great. Yes.
All right, great. So yes, I'm honestly so honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It really touched me. So I just wanted to first start out by saying thank you to all of those folks who took part in that, and to the amazing other women that are being, I think it was a wonderful moment for you to spotlight women in the industry, and just wanted to thank you for that to start out. But yeah, I have sort of a checkered past, Kyle, right? I started out of college. I was planning on going to law school, actually. I went to work for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office initially. I ended up being the director there of the Victim Witness Assistance Program.
Wow.
So that was what my early career entailed. Then I realized law school wasn't for me. Went instead to graduate school at night to get my MBA. Ultimately went over to work in the Chicago City Council. So I have a strong background in government. I worked for 10 years there for Mayor Daley's floor leader in the city council. And then from there, went to work for Leo Burnett. So my degree in business was in marketing, wanted to try to give that career a chance. So worked at Leo Burnett for a stint. And then at that time, Sheila O'Grady was actually the president of the Illinois Restaurant Association. And I had known Sheila from her time as Mayor Daley's chief of staff. We worked together in City Hall for a number of years. So she brought me over to the Illinois Restaurant Association because of my experience in government and advocacy, and also my experience in marketing. And that's when we launched Chicago Gourmet. So the first year I started was 2008. And that was the year that we started, you know, that world-class food festival that we now host every September. Actually would have been just this past weekend,
Yes.
which was another amazing weekend weather-wise. So I always tell the story because I think it's funny. People always say, oh, the weather's usually so great. How did you arrange that? And to be honest, we called Tom Skilling the first year before we started the event. And asked him to keep rain, and I mean, he has, knock on wood, he has been spot on. So that was the beginning of this amazing festival that has grown through the years. I know you've seen it from 2008 to what it was this year or last year. It's grown leaps and bounds. thanks to many people, including our presenting sponsor, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, who is really a huge part of producing the event year over year. This year, I don't know, Kyle, if you were able to participate in any of our virtual or intimate dinners that we hosted. So, we really changed it up. We didn't want to cancel the event. We have a great team of people led by, Ashley Brandon, who's our executive director of Chicago Gourmet. We re-envisioned things. Our hamburger hop, which normally kicks off the festival, with 15 chefs, I'm sure you've been competing. We this year had 100 chefs competing. So 100 restaurants around the whole state put forth their burgers. And then we did voting online for the best burger. It was Jose Rivera won the award from Black Barrel Tavern, which was great to see. And Lynn Bramer from WXRT, who is a long-standing judge of the Hamburger Hop, actually went out and awarded him the Golden Burger Trophy. So it was a lot of fun. And $1 from every burger sold went to our newly launched Employee Relief Fund. So that's what we're focusing on right now, raising money for a restaurant employee relief fund through our educational foundation. So that was a great way to reinvent the hamburger hop this year. We also did 10 virtual cooking demos with top talent from around the US, where you could buy your meal kit and cook along with those celebrity chefs. And then we did 10 dinners in restaurants all around Chicago. We really wanted to celebrate all the different neighborhoods this year. So we went out, we were in Avondale, we were in Hyde Park, we were in Pilsen, we were all over, we were in Bridgeport, and then of course in River North and downtown as well, where we had dinners of under 50 people, obviously due to the regulations that are in place right now. But all of that to raise money for the new relief fund, which we are launching applications for in October. So look for that to be coming.
Oh, great. Yeah, well, that answered one of the questions, because I was going to ask you how the relief fund's coming, and maybe tell people how they can maybe get hold and donate if they'd like to, and how do they do that?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you. You can go to illinoisrestaurants.org. There's a donate here button right on the homepage. Yes, we would love any support that anyone can offer during this difficult time. We plan to launch applications on October 15th. And we're, our priorities for giving these grants, there'll be $500 grants to restaurant workers who have either contracted COVID, or they're caring for someone in their family who has COVID, or they are unemployed and have been unable to get unemployment insurance. So many folks are in that situation, and we wanted to really try to help the folks who are in the most need.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's great. Yeah, I'll get some more information from you, and then we'll put a little thing on our website so they can just click on that and get right over to your website too, because I think that's such a great cause. People don't understand how big our industry is and just how much affected we've been by this. More than any other industry in the country, we've been affected everywhere, from the small businesses to the large businesses. So I think that's a good cause. And since we're talking about that, and you, when did you join the Illinois Restaurant Association?
So I started in 2008. So actually October 1st. Oh, wow. Yesterday was my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I didn't even, yeah. So there you go. Thank you. Yes. So I've been there for 13 years now. So a long part of my career has now been spent here. And it's, as you well know, such a wonderful industry, such incredible people, so generous. Who's sponsoring the local little league team? It's the pizza place on the corner. Never stop giving, from fast food restaurants all the way up to fine dining. We have an incredible scene here in the state of Illinois. And, so proud to work with all of these chefs and operators.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Mary Kay, I know that a lot of people really don't even know exactly what the Illinois Restaurant Association does and its purpose, and is it something that you can maybe explain to them, because a lot of times people have heard of maybe the NRA or something like that, but I've known the Louisiana Restaurant Association and a bunch of other states, but a lot of people don't really know what you guys are about. So maybe tell us a little bit about what you are about at the Illinois Restaurant Association.
Absolutely, Kyle. Yeah, our mission is to advocate, educate, and promote the industry in Illinois, and around the country, and around the world. So a huge part of what we do is advocacy work, working with local, state, and federal elected officials to try to, push legislation that's going to be helpful for the industry. Now more than ever, this is critically important as we try to secure funding for our industry during these, tragically difficult times. As we know, so many right now are on the brink of going out of business, and we're just working day in and day out to try to get relief, financial relief, and real substantive relief that will help the industry. We also educate the industry. So we, through our Serve Safe curriculum, are really the gold standard in education for the industry. We provide training in our offices, in downtown Chicago, as well as on site. We'll go out and provide training, and then promoting the industry. So we do that in a number of ways. One large way we do it is through our events, like Chicago Gourmet, as I described. Last year, we had 1.3 billion impressions around that event, building awareness of Chicago as a culinary leader in the United States. People from 11 countries came in to visit Chicago Gourmet. So we're working very closely with Choose Chicago and with the convention and visitor bureaus around the state to promote all of the incredible dining we have here in Illinois. We also are, as you know, from the very beginning of Taste of Chicago, we have been directing that food and beverage operation. So that's one of the titles you mentioned that I have. I'm director of food and beverage for the Taste of Chicago, and that event obviously also went virtual this year. Yeah. We're hoping to have all of these things back again in the future. But advocacy right now is really our primary focus, as we see. We started this year in Illinois with 594,000 employees in hospitality, and that is radically reduced. 24,000 restaurants. We expect that 20% of those restaurants won't be in business in a year, which is, just when you think about it as a number, you think about it as a number. When you think about it as people's livelihoods, people's jobs, people's whole life work, as you know, Kyle, the restaurant industry isn't a job, it's a lifestyle. This is what many have grown up with in their family. And it's just, it's honestly heartbreaking to see these long-standing operators just going out of business because they can't sustain the losses that they're having to struggle with during COVID. Some sobering statistics I can share with you. 78% of Illinois operators say they don't expect their sales to return to pre-COVID levels within the next 6 months. 55% say they're unlikely to still be in business in 6 months if conditions don't change, if we don't get a federal bailout, if we don't get another second round of PPP. These are, the rent's still coming due, Kyle, right?
I know.
We still have to pay our bills. And it's just, without any kind of a bailout, You saw yesterday the House passed a $2.2 trillion bill, which included the Restaurant Act, $120 billion dedicated to our industry. We have been fighting long and hard for the Blueprint for Recovery with both the National Restaurant Association and the Independent Restaurant Coalition to further advance funding direct for our industry. They can bail out the airlines and the banks and the car companies over the years. Why not us when we're being so hard hit by this pandemic? So that's really where our whole focus is right now.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I saw when it passed, and I thought to myself that if we could get it through the Senate, would be such a great thing, because we need it so bad. And you're so right about that, the airlines and the rail industry and all the bailouts at the banks. I mean, there's been bailouts for everybody, but we've never ever had to have a bailout, and because we've always been the backbone of the industry, and it just is so needed. I mean, look at those statistics are staggering, because as those businesses go out, remember all the employees that work for them. So it's just the numbers are just so staggering. I have a business, and I was lucky to get a little bit of PPP money because I had all of my workers coming back from college that every year come to work for us. And had I not been able to have anything, at least I got a little something, and it was well needed. And even if it cost me over the time to pay it back, I don't care. But because these employees they're your lifeblood. I mean, it's just. And I'm small time compared to the places that have all these employees. So I know when, you're so passionate at helping and getting these links and stuff together. And I think that's, one of the reasons that we have honored you is just because you have always held the fight. And we can't give up now. We have to keep fighting no matter what. I tell all my college kids that I teach, I don't ever want to hear them say they don't vote. I don't care who you vote for, but you vote. You've been given that right. So I'm like, oh my God, you have to make sure you vote. So, and it's very important that we vote and listen to the topics, because our industry is very key in this. So I know that you've done so many great things for the industry. And what do you think in your mind as a snapshot of where you see we are now, and how do we start to move to can anything be done before we get fully back on track?
Yeah, I mean, I think and thank you for that. I mean, I think you're so right. We have to vote. We have to vote for people who are going to support the initiatives that we as an industry need. As you said, this bill that passed the House will be dead on arrival in the Senate, unfortunately, because partisan politics are taking over the scene right now with the election and the offing. I mean, the House is about to recess itself, and they won't be back until after the election. The Senate obviously is staying in session primarily only due to the replacement at the Supreme Court position, and we know that both sides want to do something, because first of all, that doesn't look good when they're going back home to their constituents and nothing has been done. But to be honest, they're pretty far apart right now. The bill that passed the House was $2.2 trillion. The White House is proposing a compromise at 1.6. Some of the Republicans are saying they won't vote for anything that's greater than a 1 trillion. So, they're pretty far apart right now, unfortunately. And I think no one wants to say that they don't think they're going to make it to a deal, because obviously, no one wants to take the blame for that. But that's all we can do every day. I would say to everybody on this phone, contact your congressman, contact your senators on a regular basis. Don't, just send one email. Send an email a week. Call them if you have personal relationships with them. I mean, we need to just continually put the pressure on in order to not be forgotten. And honestly, I think that is what is the most needed right now, is that bailout and that second round of PPP, because, and also making sure that the folks that receive the pre-PP are able to get it forgiven, right? I mean, that's another piece of this. Everybody is so stretched. Everyone's resources are so limited right now. A lot of our operators don't have a full-time accountant and a full-time attorney working on the paperwork for them, right? So we're also lobbying the Treasury to make the forgiveness process simpler for folks, especially those smaller operators who were getting like under $150,000, for example, in aid. Let's try to make this easy and not difficult for everybody as we're coming through this. I mean, I think the winter is going to be extremely challenging, Kyle. I mean, you've seen some really creative things. We worked with the city of Chicago and BMO Harris on a winter challenge in Chicago. Over 600 ideas came in, applications came in for that, from school buses parked in front of restaurants to, domes in greenhouses and anything you can think of. But we all know that's great. And, we'll take any help we can get. Any little bit, it goes a long way, but that's not going to sustain us through the winter, right? I mean, we're a hardy stock here in Illinois, but I don't think sitting outside in, negative 20 degrees is going to work for most people. So although we are, grateful and thankful for those efforts, we need to increase indoor capacity. We need to make sure that people are being served safely. We need to protect our employees and our patrons in order to try to sustain this winter. You saw just yesterday, the city of Chicago moved to advance to 40% capacity indoor. The city had been at 25% since July 26th.
Right.
So, that was a very constructive step forward. By no means the answer to our problem, 40% capacity. In a normal day, Kyle, restaurants are making 3 to 5% profit margin. No one built their model on 25, 40, 50% capacity. I mean, it just doesn't work. Some people are losing more business by being open than by just staying closed. So a step in the right direction. We're thankful for the work that Mayor Lightfoot and her team are doing to help us reopen, but we know we have to keep going. We can't settle for that. We need to continue to increase. And right now, the positivity rate is what, all of the health experts and public officials are looking to as the primary matrix on advancing. Right now, Chicago's around 4.3%. So if that continues to stay steady or decline, then we're, already talking to them about moving to 50% capacity. And then, when we get there, we'll have to reevaluate how that impacts the positivity rate to try to move even further beyond that. Around the state, everybody's capacity is set on just social distancing. So as many tables as you can fit in your establishment, if you have them 6 feet apart, is what your capacity is, which is great. And honestly, we worked long and hard advocating for that with the governor's office back in June. Now, you'll see some regions are starting to shut back down, unfortunately. We were on a call this morning with operators in Rockford, yesterday with operators in Metro East region. Both of those regions have indoor dining now closed again until the level comes down. So, we keep stressing over and over again the need to really continue to operate safely. We launched an entire campaign around serving you safely, then, now, always, right? And there, we've got hundreds of restaurants around the state putting that up on all their social channels. We have an Illinois pledge that people are posting on their door, pledging what health and safety measures they're taking in their establishment to protect you. building customer confidence is a key part of what we need to do right now, as well, as you well aware. A lot of people are comfortable dining outdoors at this point, but now as the weather's turning, we need to make sure they're comfortable eating indoors. And we know, 99.9% of our operators are doing everything right. They're taking care of their staff, they're taking care of their guests. And, we're just trying to stress that with the consumers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big job. And over the years, the ServSafe has been so great about training on sanitation, and our big, just really getting the customers to trust us on how well we're doing with training and sanitations. And then this hits. But I think they've been just such a great turnaround, showing how strong the restaurants are about really adapting to make the customers feel safe. After talking to the 3 chefs that we did prior ones with, I asked them about, what are you going to take out of this that you'll keep? And all of them said the sanitation and the cleanliness and the things that we do now that we're up another step than what we did before, we're going to keep. So I think this is here to stay. I think you're going to see just new protocols of things in restaurants to make people feel safe, because we do have to get them back out into restaurants. We have to be confident. And I was so glad to see, I was on the phone with Sarah, Chef Sarah, when the 40% came around, because I did a retaping with her yesterday. And I said, so how's it? She goes, well, we just went up to 40%. So I'm just pulling tables in now. So she was so excited to have 40%. Because it is getting chilly out, and she has heaters, but it's Chicago. It's not far along before those heaters won't be able to do much up for us. So, yeah, so I think the 40% is good, and the hotel industry is hand in hand with us the same way. And I didn't see if they have raised their, because I heard that was 25%, and I know that they were trying to get them to raise up their occupancy, which would then help the restaurants also. So have you heard anything about the hotel? How's that?
Yeah, I believe, and not an expert in this by any means, but I know, the biggest hurdle for a lot of the hotels is the 50-person limit for event space, right? So that has not changed. So if you're having an event in a hotel ballroom, for example, you still can only have 50 people at that event. And the same if you were in a restaurant, and this is all around the state, the 50-person gathering size restriction. The hotels and the event venues are really suffering, right? Those folks that are in the business of just running events, the biggest event you can have right now in the state of Illinois is 50 people. And that measure did not increase. We are lobbying really hard on that front. We're also lobbying hard that the city of Chicago operators would be allowed to have more than 50 people for just dining service. That is limited right now to 50 people in their restaurant still. Regardless of that capacity limit, you can only have 50 per room or floor. So we are continually trying to increase that. I'm even, for selfish reasons, Kyle, my daughter's getting married in December. And what was going to be a 300-person wedding is now 50 people. So I really feel for all of the venues, all of the hotels, and all the brides these days.
Yeah, that I don't even know how you do that. I remember, I have 4 daughters, so I remember the battle it was just cutting down to a couple of hundred people, but I can't even imagine 50. That just is, I don't even know how you do that. So I hope you get some add-ons before December comes. Oh my God, that's so good.
Well, we share something in common, Kyle, because I also have 4 daughters. So,
so you know
yeah,
our pain.
I do. A set of identical twins I have in there too. So,
oh my goodness.
We're blessed with those girls, but they can be challenging, right, Kyle?
Yeah. I have Irish twins, so I know they're only 9.5 months, 10 months apart, and they're just as like twins. So. Well,
Oh my
that
gosh.
that is some
Yeah.
great information you have supplied us. I have one other topic. So you know that we're honoring women in this industry right now, and I've talked to all the other chefs prior to coming on, and right now our schools are all at about 60% female students right now coming into the industry, also in the hospitality classes, but in the culinary classes. And so you're seeing we see a good influx of women coming into the industry. My question to them was, unfortunately, I see a lot of them that fall off, and I'm trying to get them to stick into the industry and to do it. And it's obviously this is a tough time right now for anyone, but you obviously have worked your way up into the industry. You've seen how the women have come along, and what could you say to them as they enter into our industry, how to keep going and what they could look forward to?
You know, I think, like I said when at the beginning, I think it's wonderful that you're honoring women, and I think one of the most important things that any young professional who's trying to get into any industry, for that matter, is to find a mentor. You know, get to know Sarah Gruenberg, right, or Meg Gullis, right? Go to find the people that are going to help advance what you want to do, and they can share their lifelong experience with you. I mean, this restaurant industry was obviously always dominantly male, but the women have started to unite. I mean, there's a group even now in Chicago, Let's Talk. I don't know if you're familiar,
Yes.
not even Chicago, Chicagoland,
Right.
that is formed. It's wonderful, women entrepreneurs, and they've, joined forces. They're actually running programming through October that we're celebrating on all of our IRA channels. They're doing takeout from all of their different restaurants, and it's great to see them banding together to promote each other, right? So if I was young in the industry, I always tell my 4 daughters, right? Find somebody that is in the job that you may someday want to have, and ask them for help. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. I think so many women are used to just working hard and thinking, I'm just going to put my head down, work hard, and I'm going to get noticed. That's not always the case. You have to promote yourself as well. You have to go out there and ask for what you want and not be afraid to do that.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I too, I have told my daughters the same thing, growing up and seeing this industry and being in it. They also went into other industries. Most of them are in the medical industry. But it's the same. It's the same thing. We do such a good job of mentoring. Like colleges do a great job of maybe mentoring to their own alumni. But in the restaurant industry, we have started, even at the ACF, has started lots of mentorships where we have mentored a young person with another person, and we're really trying to get the women chefs involved. And we've got some great ones, obviously, that have come up through the thing, and we're trying to get them to also mentor. And they're doing stages now, and they're mentoring, and all the chefs that we've had on have been great about saying, yeah, come in, do a stage, email me, do whatever we want. So I think they're there, but like you said, you got to promote and get in there. They're their hardest workers, I can tell you that, and I probably have a couple of boy students that are online right now watching this, but the girls are so, like, as soon as I get off here, I'll be sending an email to the class, but it's mostly to the boys to do their work. But I mean, they're just such hard workers. And I think I was one of the ones in 1980, makes me old, early 80s that hired a woman sous chef. And I was probably one of the only one in the industry at that time that had a woman sous chef.
That's wonderful,
Yeah,
Kyle.
and,
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh,
It
no
takes
problem.
people like you, stepping up to give people that opportunity. Another big thing that we do at the we have an educational foundation that, as I said, is now launching this relief fund. But the day job of the IRA is just that, to educate young professionals, right? We've given away over $3 million in scholarships to culinary students. This year we gave away around $100,000, and the majority of those were to women, to young women. So it's great to see them even looking for those resources that are available out there. And you know, we're here to help too. You know, I always say we're a selfish charity because we're just trying to create a better workforce for the restaurants down the road, right?
Yeah.
We've been so blessed with the generosity of so many talented chefs and entrepreneurs who have helped to mentor these students throughout the years as well.
Yeah. I mean, all of the industry leaders that we've had on have written us and lent their support to this cause that we've come up with, from Phil Stefani to, you know, all of them that we have had, that a bunch of in the Hall of Fame with you now. All I think feel the same way, that, you know, this is a big family we have here. And I think that you find the biggest hearts in this industry. And literally you have to ask, but if you ask or look out there for help, there'll be somebody to lend a hand. And I mean, restaurants that are struggling on their own still do anything they can to help somebody else. And that shows you our industry. So we have to do as much as we can for it. I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I'm going to open it up in case anyone has any questions that they want to unmute and maybe ask a question about the industry. I usually get a pile of them after, and then that way I'll post them to the chat board. If I get them, I'll send them to you. This will be taped, and it's going to be right on our front page of our website. So we'll have all 4 of the videos. You'll be the 4th one going up now. I had an issue with the size at first because they were so big. And so my technician, which is why there are technicians for this, helped us get the site straight. So Ina's went up, and then I have the other 3 going up. So it'll be up there, so anyone can go and see, and we'll see our website, and we'll have them right on the front page so they can go and watch these, because a lot of people, you know, are working or whatever, but we've had great response.
Sure.
So we'll put them up there. So if I get any, does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask, Mary Kay? Let's see. I see a couple of our board members are on here. So you met Kate. Kate was the first one that we met. She was on, and Kate works a lot with the private club industry. And so she is in that industry. And so they have their own set of issues going on, obviously, with like all of us. And Joanne, I see, is on. These were all board members from the Culinary Museum, and so they're the backbone of our industry too, of our association. So, you know, like you said, all the places that are, you know, the event places, like the one that we were going to hold our event, we keep putting a place marker back in, but you know, they're suffering like everybody else. So until we can do something above 50 people, we're gonna wait till we can have a really great event and let you get past your wedding, and and then hopefully spring or early summer we'll be having some positive response, and we can all be looking back at this as another blip. So but I just want to,
we all pray that's the case
sooner
rather than later, Kyle, right?
I know. I hear you. Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on and giving us some of your time. I know how busy you are, especially at this time of year and with all this going on. So, you know, wish luck to all the people at the Restaurant Association. If anything we can do, like I said, I will post your employee. Is there a name for the employee fund?
It's the Restaurant Employee Relief Fund. And I'll send you the link, Kyle.
Okay.
And we have like a cube ad that if you could post, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
And like I said, anybody else who's interested, it's all the information is right on our website.
Oh, great.
But can't thank you enough again for having me and for the honor and for all that you and your association does for the industry.
So well, it was our pleasure. We enjoy this immensely, honoring people that really have done so much for the industry and the city. It's been great. So you enjoy the rest of your day if you can. Again, thank you for coming and joining us. And we'll have this posted, and send me the link if you could, because I really want to get that up on our front page, and we'll let them. and then we'll send it out on our social media, and we'll see how much we can drum up. So again, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. We'll send
Uh,
it off to you today.
all
Thank you
right.
all for
Great.
joining.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.